What is up, Pickle Traders? Lee Ryder here, co-founder at PrimeIQ Labs, and we have another automated insight for you. So let's go ahead and get into it. Before we start, we have this disclaimer to read. This material reflects the personal viewpoints of the presenter and is designed solely for informational purposes and is not intended to serve as financial, legal, or tax advice. It is crucial to note that the presenter is neither a certified financial planner nor a registered investment advisor. Trading and investment involves substantial risk, including potential loss of capital. The presenter assumes no responsibility for any financial losses or gains that may occur. As with any financial decision, we strongly recommend conducting your own research and consulting with a qualified professional before making investment choices. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. What are we going to cover today? What's in the agenda? We're going to cover, you know, gold, Bitcoin, and Ethereum this one, and we're going to do 1 hour time frames with a 4 hour fractal. So you're going to see 1 hour and then 4 hour for the PIQL tools. That's what that means. If we start with XAU, we can look at this past where we've been. We're fairly familiar with this pattern just because it's been doing it for a while, right? This is 1987. We've come down into this previous level and popped up. And this last week, this is where this band was. As we said, we thought we would continue down back towards this like 1884 level. And that's really, that's what happened. It's honoring this pretty good. And now we're up against this resistance level here, which we think, would likely continue. So that's kind of where we are with gold. We're up against this vacuum node here. The tools are kind of showing us that we have a little bit further to go, but if we go back and look, it could really go either way, just because we didn't really quite make a cycle up in the hourly, and our fractal time frame is just kind of bouncing off. So it's really going to be one of those things where you just have to look to the tools, to the AP band colors to find out when the next one occurs, what market regime we're in. So that's kind of why I've plotted here. My thinking would be, local low here. I would think we're probably at a buy point and we will retest up higher. But once again, we will have to kind of look to the tools to tell us that. But this would make sense just aligning with what we'll see later with BTC and ETH. So what's the playbook here? Well, we really want to look at these key levels above 1925 and below 1920, and we're at 1919 right now. As far as the key tool alerts, we really want to be looking, like I said, entering and exiting the orange and the purple, keeping track of that, and then looking when the AP is turning up and down. That's going to give us an indication of the overall trend, right? The direction. And then Delta Prime, entering or exit that purple band, and if the DP is turning up and down, paying special attention, as you'll see here, to entries when it's below 20 or above 80. If we're long, the AP is going to generally be the last orange band is going to be higher than the last purple. If we're short, that means the last orange is going to be less than the last purple. Now, I've added an appendix to this slide deck, so every week you'll have something to reference, which I think will help a lot, but I'll cover that at the end. But you can go and reference that if you have questions. Exit, as always, we're going to be exiting the next vacuum node up if we're long and down if we're short. And then once again, journal, document, screenshot, your entries, the PIQL tools, and most importantly, you really need to be tracking your emotional state and finding out what can make you a better trader. A lot of y'all have, I say a lot, some have done this and we found pretty good success. And they found that they were just trading with too large a size, and they noticed that when they brought their size down, that their emotional reaction was much less, and they were able to follow through with the trade. So that's great. Okay, next, let's go with Bitcoin. This is going to be a new edition, but it will be going forward on all the slide decks. But where have we been? We were in this big, huge range, and then we kind of dropped off. And if we looked at this, we would kind of know, right? We had the AP that was overextended. On our 4 hour, it was also overextended. So we're really just working our way down. But we are at this pretty strong support level. And I want you to notice this lack of buying here, and then how much buying is picked up here. So we want to keep track of that. And you'll see as we move forward, we're just finding really strong support here on both of these time frames. We'll see this divergence forming. and this is a really good sign. So we really want to be looking for a long trade here. Like I said, with gold it's hinting. With gold we're not seeing it. With BTC we are. And once again, how are we know that we're in a long regime? Where we're really just looking last orange above last purple. We can also see that it's starting to form here. So our fractal time frame when we get an orange will be quite important to pay attention to. And then we'll be looking for a DP below 20 to enter long into. So where do we think it's going? Like I said, kind of just like I explained, I really think we'll probably want to retest this lower bound or this upper bound. But if not, we might continue to crash lower. We'll just really need to watch our fractals here and see, does this long really hold up, or is this kind of like a fake out? What's the playbook here? Same thing. We want to be looking above 26,496. That's going to be the level above us. We're at 25,908 now, and below 25,411. These are going to be key price levels that if we break those, we're probably going to be continuing in the direction of that break. As always, these key tool alerts and entries and exits and journal are going to be the same, right? That's what's so great about this system, but we're going to hammer it home every time that you really need to do the same thing. You need to set the same alerts. You're really, every market, you're always looking for the same thing. So really what's going to change here in the playbook is, where we are at the levels, and then once we break these levels, which regime do we go into? So this playbook should be really helpful going forward. Next, we have ETH. ETH, very similar to Bitcoin. We had this big range up here that formed this nice normal distribution. We had on our 1 hour time frame and on the 4 hour time frame got this overextension, but not so much on the fractal like we saw on Bitcoin. And now we're just kind of moving lower, but you'll notice ETH has fully completed cycle, which is really great. And it has found tons of support here if we're looking at where we are now. Same thing, the last orange is above the last purple. And we want to watch, is the next orange going to be above this purple? That would be really giving us a strong buy signal. And then we're looking for Delta Prime to turn, a purple band below 20, as always. So same thing. What are we looking for? Well, we're looking for kind of like we saw with Bitcoin. We think that we're likely going to retest this upper range again. Like I said, when we go to standard deviations, we want to retest. So we're just looking for a good time to do that. We've been the Delta Prime, if you look, held up here in this upper range. We really want to see a reset below. But if it's me, I'm really looking to take a snap here as soon as I get the DP below the 20 on that purple band. What's the playbook here? Same thing. Above 1665, we're at 1633, and below at 1602. This right here is going to kind of dictate which way we go and follow the kind of this flow chart. But the flow chart will be the same, right? Just depending on which way we break or which way your analysis says the market will move. I always like to plan for both. That way, no matter what happens, you're in the know, right? Okay, now here's a new thing that I added. This is going to be the appendix that's going to be part of this slide deck. So here we can see, trading view PIQL alerts. So this is going to be a little step-by-step on how to set the alerts along with the list of all the alerts. So if you have any questions, here they are. We also have a list of cognitive biases. Humans are really bad at thinking. Whenever we don't know what we should remember, when we need to act fast, when there's not enough meaning and there's too much information in front of us, we're likely to fall into one of these cognitive biases. I talk about it all the time, but now you have something to reference in case you're curious and want to explore that yourself. Next, we also have this alpha prime long band pattern and short band pattern. So here you can see when the last orange is greater than the last purple, this indicates a long bias. And, just the opposite, when the last orange is less than the last purple, that's going to indicate a negative or short bias. So I hope that's going to be helpful for y'all and kind of clear up some confusion. I added this chart here just because it's a really nice visual to remind you of what the cycle does. We flow from green to red, from high to low, from low to high. It's not always super clean, but you can see over the long run, that's the way it plays out. And it's more about thinking in these probabilities instead of thinking in these discrete decisions. Okay, I hope y'all like that slide deck. I hope it was helpful, and we'll see you in the next one.